Hi, so today we are taking our third video in this series, working on the arms, in particular the wrists. So we will be doing a couple of wrist free flows. So if you're somebody who does struggle with pain or discomfort in your wrists and you find that we do too much in our yoga practice, then this is for you. However, we are taking some wrist and arm strengthening vinyasas as well. So if that's something that interests you and you want to go the whole hog, grab yourself a weight if you have one. If you don't, no worries at all. If you happen to have a small loop resistance band, grab that as well. Again, no worries if not. What you definitely do need is a block or something that can work as a block. Toilet roll is great, something that is a little bit squishy, not as large as a cushion, something round about this size that's not too heavy. Okay, let's make a start. So we're starting in standing today. So come to stand on your mat with the feet slightly apart. Just take a few moments here. Just close the eyes, tune in, take a few moments focusing on the breath. Allowing the crown of the head to float up towards the sky. Allowing the shoulders to melt down towards the floor. I'm going to gently open the eyes. We're going to turn the palms out away from us, and as we inhale, we're reaching the arms all the way up towards the ceiling, reaching up through the fingertips. Turn the palms away from each other as we draw the hands back down to the sides. We'll take that a few more times. Inhaling, reaching up, and exhaling, drawing the hands back down. Make sure you rotate the wrists, the palms out rather, as we reach up, and rotate the palms out as we reach down. Take that once or twice more, breathing in and breathing out. So today, although we're focusing on the arms and particularly the wrists, it will be quite shoulder intensive as well, because we can't isolate particular joints. So there'll be a lot going on the shoulders and by default the core as well today. So I'd like you to just keep the elbows tucked into the sides. We'll allow the wrists to go floppy here. And we're going to flick the forearms forwards. So as we do that, we're powering through the elbows here. And because we're not holding any tension whatsoever in the wrists or the hands kind of just rebound. And we're going to take that a little bit further by reaching forward. So we're flicking forward by using the shoulders. So not only are we flicking the wrists, we're doing the same with the elbows as well here. Your wrists or even your elbows might click as you do this. No problem at all. Okay. From here, we're going to bring the hands onto the shoulders, and we're going to rotate the elbows forward, keeping the hands on the shoulders. Again, the shoulders might be a little bit crunchy here. And then we'll take the elbows back as we take those circles backwards. Okay, and we'll come into neutral. Let's bring the hands out in front of us, bring the hands into fists and circle the wrists in one direction and then the other. Take that one direction and then the other a couple more times. Okay, just shake out the arms there. All right, so just reach the arms forwards for me as well. Spread the fingers wide and simply turn the palms up and then the palms down, but rotate as wide in one direction than the other as you can. So you're trying, it's not going to happen, but you're trying to get a full rotation of the arms. Okay, lovely. So, from the top of our mat here, we're going to inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky, lift the chest, look up. Exhale, soften the knees, fold it all the way down here. And we'll bring the hands up onto the shins as we lift the hips and draw the crown of the head forwards. Pop the hands down to the floor. We're going to take our right leg down the mat, pop that right knee down. Let's reach the arms up. And we're going to grab a hold of the thumbs. So hook the thumbs. So we've got a hold of the thumbs here. And feel like you're pulling the thumbs away from each other. Relaxing the shoulders down the back. Reaching the fingertips up towards the sky. Give the fingers a wiggle as you're there. And we'll pop the hands down to the floor. Step it all the way forwards. Bring the hands onto the shins into our half lifts. Popping the hands down, we're going to step the left leg down the mat, drop the left knee down. Reach the arms up, hooking the thumbs, pulling the thumbs apart, allowing the shoulder blades to slide down the back, fingertips reaching up towards the sky. Give the fingers a little wobble again. And we'll pop the hands down to the floor. From here, just bring that front foot back so we come into a tabletop. So, bring the wrists right underneath the shoulders for me here. Make sure the knees are hip distance wide. And from here, we're simply going to internally and externally rotate the arms. So my arms are straight. It may look like my elbows are bent, they're not. I'm keeping the whole of the arm straight here. So I'm turning the elbow pit inwards and then the elbow pit outwards. How far in or out they go completely depends on you. We are all very different with this. And just come into neutral for you. Don't worry about where those elbow pits are facing. They may be completely different to mine. So from here, we're going to circle the shoulders around the wrists. So if it's not right for you to take the shoulders forwards of the wrists, that's fine. You don't have to. If this is all good for you, that's great. Continue circling the shoulders around the wrists here. So we're sort of distributing our weight now round the hands here. So the weight transfers to the outside, to the front, to the sides and to the heel of the hand. And take those circles in the other direction. So it's like we're moving the weight around in a circle around the palm of the hand. Okay, come on back to neutral. And from here, just bring your right hand to float above the mat and lift your left knee a little. Just in a little contralateral limb lift, just to test our balance here and to transfer weights. Pop the knee down, pop the hand down. So taking the opposite hand and knee off the mat. So make sure when you've got your left hand lifted, the right knee's lifted. We're not going the same each side. Okay, pop the hand down, pop the knee down. Let's come to sit back onto the heels. And when we're there, if that's not right for you, come into an ordinary seated, cross-legged, whatever you want to. You don't need to kneel if you don't wish. Pop the hands down onto the thighs. As we breathe in, we're going to draw the belly and draw the chest forwards as we lift the chest up towards the sky. Look up slightly. As we exhale, we're going to tuck the chin, puff out through the shoulder blades as we draw the belly back, maybe leaning back a little bit here. Inhaling, maybe leaning forwards as we draw the chest forwards and lift the chest up, shoulders relax. As we exhale, lean it back, chin tucks into our cat position, bringing it forwards into our cow. Take that kneeling or seated cat-cow once more. And then we'll come into neutral, we'll pop the hands down, we'll push all the way back to a downward facing dog and walk on the spot there. So bend one knee, draw the opposite heel down towards the floor. So what we want here in our down dog is a nice straight line through the arms. So we're not bending at the elbows. If we're bending at the elbows, we're putting an awful lot of weight through the elbows there. As we do practice downward dog a lot throughout our yoga practice. So it may be fine once or twice, but over and over, it's not advisable. So nice straight arms, so we're grounding that weight down, distributing the weight from the fingertips all the way up through to the hips. Okay, so from here we're going to walk the feet all the way to the top of the mats. When we get there, ground down through the feet, reach on all the way up to stand, lift the chest, reach on up through the hands, bring the hands together at the heart. Okay, let's inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, folding it down. Hands come to the shins again. Pop the hands down. Let's step the right leg down the mat for a low lunge. When we're in our low lunge, just step the left foot out to the side a little bit so we can bring the hands to the inside. We're going to stay on fingertips, so stay on the fingertips of the right hand, so we're tenting the fingers. Bring the other hand onto the knee or onto the hip and allow this knee to knock out to the side if it wants to as we draw the hips forwards. So it may be too much to tent the fingers here. You may find this isn't right for you, it's not comfortable. Feel free to come down onto the hands. If you're all good there, it's a really great way of strengthening through the fingers and causing strength with our grip strength as well. So take a breath or so there, lift on up through the chest. And then we'll bring the hands down, shuffle that foot into centre, and we'll step it all the way forwards, bringing the hands to the shins. And then we'll take the hands to the mat, step the left leg down the mat, pop the left knee down, shuffling that right foot out to the side, keeping the left fingertips onto the floor. Hand comes onto the thigh, the knee or the hip, whichever you fancy. Allow the hips to drop down towards the floor, the chest to lift up. Taking a couple more breaths there. And then we'll come all the way back, shuffle that foot back in. And from there we're going to step that front foot back. We're going to come to lie all the way onto the belly here. So when we lie on the belly, just bring the arms out to the sides. So take the feet a little bit wider. We're just lifting through the chest a little bit here. We're bringing the hands to a hover above the mats. And from here, we are simply rotating the forearm, allowing that rotation to travel all the way up through to the shoulder. So we're turning the palm up towards the sky and the palm down and turn it round with both hands. So we're rotating through the arms and one direction and then the other. And you'll notice as you lift your palms up and draw the thumb back, your shoulders may well lift, your chest may lift. And as you rotate in the other direction, you'll find your shoulders rotate towards the floor and your chest will drop. Taking that a couple more times. And then from there, we'll bring the hands towards the feet And we're going to do exactly the same. So rotate the palms up, rotate the palms down. If you're finding this is niggly on your lower back, keep pushing the pelvis and pushing through the pockets down into the mat. Couple more times, rotating the palms up and turning in the other direction. Okay. So the next time our shoulders are turned down towards the floor, so that internal rotation, lift through the chest a little bit more if you can, if that feels comfortable. And we're going to bend the wrists so the fingertips come towards the floor and then draw towards the back of the mat. Okay, if you have enough height here, if you don't worry about it. If you're high enough in the chest that you can keep the fingertips drawn towards the floor and then bring the hands towards the floor and reach them out again, go for it. If you've not quite got enough height, think about lifting the elbows a little bit higher or just come down to wherever you can reach. And then when our hands come to the sides of the body so they're about shoulder height, pop the hands down to the floor, draw the chest forwards, lift on up a little into a cobra, keep those elbows drawing in, doesn't have to be a high cobra. Okay, drop it down, keep the hands where they are. Push yourself all the way up to all fours. So when we're in our tabletop position, we're going to keep the hands underneath the shoulders, spread the fingers wide, and we're going to lift the palm of one hand up again away from the mat and then lower it down. Do the same with the other hand. So we're keeping the palm knuckles touching the mat. We're keeping the fingertips on the mat, but we're lifting the heel of the hand and then the other one. If you can, do both at the same time or stick with that one at a time. Okay, so bring the heel of the hands down now. Keep pushing through the palm knuckles, push down through the fingertips. Let's tuck the toes, come into a downward facing dog. So as we keep grounding down through the palm knuckles and the fingertips, and maybe the base of the thumb a little bit as well, you'll notice that the heel of the hand becomes light. So we're not pushing down through the heel of the hand. We're allowing that to be soft, which takes a lot of the weight out of the wrists here. Okay. So from here, we're going to pop the knees back down again. Alright, so from here we're going to keep the hands down to the mat. We're going to drop the elbows down towards the mat. Keep the elbows hugging in towards each other so they stay shoulder distance wide. And then lift back up again. So elbows come down towards the mat and lift back up again. Do that a few more times. As I say, keeping the elbows hugged in so the elbows don't come out to the side. For the same reason as before, if the elbows are wide, we're putting all the weight of the body through the elbows here. So elbows shoulder distance wide. One more time. Okay, so from here, come into a downward dog. Reconnect with that sensation in the hands. So we're grounding down through the palm knuckles, grounding down through the fingertips, allowing the heel of the hand to become light. Let's walk the feet all the way to the top of the mat now. Okay, when we get to the top of the mat, reach on all the way up and bring the hands to the heart. Good. Give the wrists a little shake out. Okay, so let's grab our block. We're going to bring the block in between the forearms here and have the palms facing towards us. So keep squeezing that block. Start to lift your right heel. We're bringing the weight through into the left foot. When you're ready, we're going to draw the knee up and draw the elbows down towards the knee. So elbows and knee can draw as close together as you can. And then we're lifting the elbows as we take the knee back. As we take the knee further back than the hips, keep pushing the hips forwards and lift the elbows up. So elbows and knee come together once again. And then elbows and knee draw away. Keep pushing the hips forwards as we do so. Let's do one more. Elbows to knee. And then elbows away from knee. Keep those hips neutral, keep them pushing forwards. And come all the way to standing. Okay, keep that block in between the forearms. We're going straight on to the other side. So lifting the left heel, grounding down through the right foot. We're going to draw the knee and the elbows towards each other again. And draw the knee and the elbows away from each other. Hips keep pushing forwards. Draw them back together. And take them away. Last time. And then we'll come into neutral. Pop your block down to the floor. Okay, so let's come to step to the back of the mat. From here we're going to do a wrist-free vinyasa. So we're not putting weight through the wrists at all through this vinyasa. So let's reach the arms in front of us. So we're going to keep the torso upright as we bend the knees a little. We're going to keep bending the knees. We're going to keep the torso upright. The heels will lift away from the mat at some point, and you'll sit all the way down into a squat at the back of the mat. So from here, we're going to bring the knees down to the floor as slowly and as controlled as we can. And then we're bringing the forearms down to the floor. So keep pushing the forearms down to the floor, keep pushing the hands down to the floor, and take the feet back, drop the hips down. We're going to come into a Sphinx pose. So the elbows are round about underneath the shoulders. If they're a bit further forward, that's fine. Ground down, forearms and hands once more. Draw the wrists down into the mat. Draw the chest forward, relax the shoulders. As usual, if Sphinx doesn't feel right in your lower back, just push the pelvis down, push the pockets down. And take a couple of breaths here. And we're going to tuck the toes under now. So lower it down a little bit, tuck the toes under, lift the hips away from the mat, push the heels away, ground down through those forearms once again. Crown of the head reaches away from the heel of the feet. Keep pushing down, keep trying to draw the wrists, the hands, the forearms all the way down into the mat. Okay, from here we're going to take it into a dolphin, walking the feet forwards towards the elbows. If you take your feet wider, it's a little easier. Keep the shoulders above the elbows. Don't allow them to come forwards. If your head's coming down towards the floor, you need to draw the elbows back. Keep grounding down through the forearms, the hands, the wrists. Take another round of breath here. And then we'll drop the knees down, come into a child's pose. Allow the hands to do whatever they want. So just allow the forearms, the hands to come away from the mat. Okay, let's come to sit up on the heels. Tuck the toes under. And we're going to try not to use our hands as we lift the knees. It's a bit of a wobbly one, so you may, well, need to find your balance there. So we're going to come all the way to standing. All right, lovely. So take a little step further back. We're going to take one more of those with a little difference. reaching the arms forwards, bending the knees, keeping upright. We're going to lower all the way down. The heels will lift. Come into that squat. Drop the knees down to the floor. Forearms come down. This time, as the forearms come down, turn the palms up towards the sky. So take a few moments here. This is really hard and we really need to focus on it. So we're pushing the forearms down to the mat, keeping the palm lifted. We're pushing the hands down into the mat. We're drawing the wrists down into the mat. And you will most likely find that your thumb is nowhere near the floor. Try to draw your thumb down into the mat as well. It's unlikely to touch. If it does, great. If it doesn't, just be happy. Just keep drawing the thumb down. So you may find this is intense in your shoulders as well as the forearms, the hands, the wrists, the thumbs. And we're going to step it back here, sink the hips down, come into our Sphinx pose again. So we keep grounding down through the forearms, the hands, the thumbs, drawing the chest forward, shoulders relaxed. So we're going to sink it down a little bit, lift the hips away a touch, tuck the toes, kick away through the heels, coming into our forearm plank. Keep pushing down through the forearms, keep drawing the hands and the thumbs down into the mat. And now let's walk the feet in for our dolphin. Again, feet wide if you want to make this a little bit easier. Keep drawing the shoulders away from the elbows so the head's not touching the floor. Keep grounding down through the forearms. Drop the knees down. Turn those palms the right way down towards the floor. And take a little moment here. Maybe wiggle through the fingers, rotate through the wrists if you need to. Okay, let's come up to sit on the heels. When we're there, we're going to tuck the toes under. Try to keep your balance as you lift the knees. And then we'll come all the way to stand. Okay, let's come to the top of the mat. All right, so from the top of the mat, we're going to reach the arms up to the sky. We'll exhale, fold it down. Inhaling, hands to the shins. Exhale, back to a plank pose. Pop the knees down for a moment. If you are someone who happens to have a kettlebell hanging around your house, grab a hold of that kettlebell. If it's heavy, think about how you lift it safely. This is only 5 kilos. So we're going to pop that kettlebell or weight, whatever you have, to the outside of the hand. If you don't have anything, use your block. So it's not going to be about the physical weight of the item, but it's going to be about weight shifting in the arm. So it's still good. Come on up to a high plank pose for me. Feel free to have the knees drop down if you need to. So stay in this plank shape. So take the hands that's not next to the weight, grab a hold of the weight. Take it to the other side, to the outside of the other hand. Grab the weight, take it over, or the block. So we can easily do this with a block instead, taking it one side to the other. So see, I'm staying in my plank shape here, but there is going to be a little bit of movement one side to the other as I'm shifting my weight from one hand to the other. When you're ready, pop the knees down, move your block out of the way, lower all the way down to the floor. Okay. Lift on up into a cobra pose for me. Push it all the way back to downward facing dog. And from our down dog, we're going to wave it forwards into a plank again. Feel free to drop the knees. In fact, let's do it first with the knees dropped. And we're going to drop the forearms down to the floor just as we did a little earlier, and then lift it back up again. Again, if you want to really work on the strength, lift the knees to a full plank. We're going to not only drop the elbows, but drop the knees down towards the mats and then come back up again. If you touch the floor with elbows and knees and can still get up again, well done you. We'll do that a couple more times. One more. Come on back to plank. Push it all the way back to downward dog. Remember about the hands, grounding down through the palm knuckles, grounding down through the fingertips, nice and light through the palm of the hand. When you're ready, we're going to reach our right leg up to the sky, step that right foot all the way forwards to the top of the mat. Left foot steps in a little bit so we can drop the heel down. Coming up to a warrior two with the hands on the hips. So, doesn't matter about where that back foot's facing, so long as you're happy to have the ribs facing forwards with the back heel dropped on the mat. So, straighten that front leg for me, keep those ribs forward. Bring the hands together. So, push the hands together here. Feel free to stay here with the hands in front of you, or bring the hands to the top of the head. Keep pushing the hands together and you'll find that the elbows are wide about where the shoulders are. Okay, keep a little contact between the wrist and the crown of the head. So we're kind of pushing them into each other nice and gently. Keep those ribs facing forward, keep the back heel down onto the mat, and we'll hinge it forwards. So keep pushing the head into the hands a little bit. This will stop us collapsing forwards. Hold it when your hamstrings tell you to stop. And then come all the way back up. Release the hands, bend the front knee, step it all the way back to a downward facing dog. Let's lift the left leg to the sky. Step that left foot all the way to the top of the mat. Step the right foot in some more, drop the back heel, bring the hands to the hips, coming into our warrior one feet. Straightening that front leg, so ribs facing forwards. Let's bring the hands together again. I'm going to bring the hands to the top of the head if that's what you did last time. Keep that little bit of contact, keep pushing the crown of the head up into the hands a bit. We're going to hinge at the hips, keep grounding down through both heels, particularly that back heel. Really keep the back heel down into the mat. A little bit of contact, pushing the head up into the hands a bit. And then we'll come all the way back up. Release the hands. Step it back to a downward dog. Okay, lovely. Let's walk, step, or hop the feet all the way to the top of the mat, grounding through the feet, reaching all the way up to stand, and bringing the hands to the heart. Okay, last one. Reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, fold. Hands come to the shins. Take it back to a plank pose. Again, feel free to drop the knees down. In fact, let's pop the knees down anyway. If you do have a resistance band, pop that over your forearms. If you don't, just ignore that instruction altogether. It's exactly the same instructions. We're just adding a little bit more resistance by using the band. So come into your plank, high or low plank. Hold it there, make sure the shoulders are broad, puffing out through the centre of the shoulders a little bit. Heels drawn back, crown of the head forwards. Now we're going to take one hand, step it forward to hand's width. Bring it back, step it out to the side. Bring it back, step the hand back, take it back. Over to the other side, step it forwards, back to centre, out to the side, back to centre. Bring it back to centre. Do one more if you want to, or just take a little rest. And over to the other side. Step the hand forwards, back to centre, out, back to centre, back to centre. Drop the knees down, come all the way to the floor. Get rid of your resistance band if you used it. Roll on up to cobra. Lower down to the floor. Push it back to your downward facing dog. Let's wave it forwards to a plank pose. Okay, if you wish to finish with a couple of elbow and knee lowers, let's go for that. Let's do 4 in total. Last one. And then take it back to the downward dog. Okay, let's lift the right leg to the sky, step that right foot all the way to the top of the mat. Back foot comes in for our warrior 1 feet again. Coming up, hands come to the hips. Okay, straighten the front leg. Bring the hands together again. Feel free to keep them here in front of you, or bring the hands behind you. So we've got the back of the hands towards the back. Now bring the palm of the hands together, so we're into a reverse prayer. So keep those hands touching. Keep the ribs facing forward, grounding down to the heels. We're going to hinge at the hips into our pyramid pose. If the hands are behind you or in front of you, you'll be able to fall much further than when we did with the hands on the top of the head. Lift all the way back up. Let's release the hands from behind us, so open the hands and then bring them forwards. Bend that front knee, push it back to downward dog. Let's lift the left leg to the sky, step that foot all the way to the top of the mat. Back foot comes in a little bit, coming up to our warrior 1, straightening that front leg. Take your choice, either hands in front or hands into a reverse prayer. Okay, take a nice in breath here. When you're ready, exhale, fold. Take a couple of breaths when you find your spot in your pyramid pose. And then lift on all the way back up. Release the hands, bend that front knee, push it all the way back to downward dog. And then we'll pop the knees down to the floor. Come all the way back into a child's pose, knees together or knees wide, whatever works for you. Take a few moments there. You may wish to take a little movement with the wrists. Now we'll come all the way up. Come into a comfortable seated position, all standing. And we're going to bring the hands in front of us. I'm going to shuffle a little bit closer. So bring the hands together. Imagine the hands are like magnets being drawn together. The hands are covered in magnets. So we're going to open the palms towards us. We're going to bring the back of the hands together like they're being pulled together by magnets. Bring the fingertips down towards the floor. And then rotate round so we come back to this prayer position. Carry on, open the arms, the hands behind, towards you, and then circle all the way round. Good. Once or twice more. And then when we come back to that prayer, let's open the palms away from us. So we're circling in the other direction. Keep in contact all the time. Last one. Good, lovely. Okay, so let's bring the arms out in front of us. Keep the fingertips wide this time. Circle the wrists round. Try your very best to keep the forearms as straight as you can. So the forearms aren't twisting, the forearms are staying as they are. and the wrist moves. And then take it in the other direction. So you'll see as soon as you keep those forearms still, you'll get less of a rotation through the wrist. That's fine, that's great. We're really getting into the nitty gritty of the wrists then, rather than the movement being driven by the rest of the arm. Okay, lovely. So we're going to keep those wrists floppy again and then flick them forward just as we did at the start. And then take that into the rest of the arm. Give it a shake out and then flick water from the fingers. So we're actually powering the movement through the wrists now, so the fingers go floppy. Okay, lovely. Shake out once more. And from here, let's come all the way to lie on the back. So coming down to the mat, knees bent, all legs completely straight. Bringing the hands down to the side of the body. Just grab a hold of the head so you can tuck the chin and feel like you're elongating through the neck a little bit. Hands come to the sides of the body, turn the palms up towards the sky. Keep the feet nice and wide so the ankles can relax. And then close the eyes. Bringing the focus into the breath. And stay for as long as you like, focusing on the breath. And if your mind does wander away from the breath, just keep returning to that breath. Stay there for as long as you like. And whenever you're ready to come up, come on up. Now we'll leave you be and I'll say namaste. Thank you very much. See you next time.